rise for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please join me to the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilor, can I get a motion to approve the minute of April 11?
Second.
Motion has been made, properly seconds. All those in favor? Aye. The ayes have it. Since we don't have any councilor on, I don't have to go to roll call, okay? So what is the first?
Madam
Yes.
Chair, I'd like to take document number 10521 off of table matters.
Councilor?
Second.
Motion's made, properly second. Councilor President? Document 105, LCAT Board of Directors request an update information about community television station. It has been put on the agenda by Councilor Levy and Councilor Payano, who's going to be absent. Good evening.
Well set? How we doing tonight, council?
We doing okay? Thank you
That's
for
good.
checking and asking.
All right. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that we have, our attorneys are out in the audience with us tonight, too. All right? We have Attorney Chris from Anthony DeFuccia's law office and DeFuccia Law Clerk Michael Peters with us. All right, so a few years back, Mr. Ross passed away. I was asked to take over as the board president. My name is Thomas Spitaleri, for the record. I live at 67 Currier Street, Methuen, Massachusetts. And we are a 501c nonprofit in the city. So residency rules do not apply to a 501c3 nonprofit. Similar to any other nonprofit board you have in, like the history centers and all those other Friends Parks and stuff like that. Since I took over, I know there were some issues when I was first appointed, asked to be on the board and voted in by the original board of members. There's only Mike and Joe left who are behind me. When I took over the station, we've done a lot of work in the station. I've invited all the councilors, the mayor, to the station. I know Councilor Plant has seen some of the work, but he hasn't seen it all, because when we were talking, we weren't done everything yet. But just so everybody knows, besides the floors and maintenance work inside, the red walls are gone. The bad floors that have been written about are gone. Everything's gone. It's all brand new inside. So we picked up a brand new switcher in there, commander interface brand new, technical support, a Bird Dog PTZ cameras for the studio itself, Audio Snake 12 channel, a brand new server rack, which gives you the better picture. You've noticed through the last year or two, there's no more orange picture on the station. You can actually see people and enjoy what we're watching. High-capacity batteries for the staff cameras. What are they, 6? Yeah, 6 brand-new staff cameras. Tripod, 6. Camera bags. Zoom focus. Headphones. A disseminator. Shotgun mics for the cameras. So we've fully upgraded the whole system. Encoder, steamer, switcher, monitor, recorder, all brand new. And the OmniDial lavalier mics. The studio hours, and they are changing. I have new staff in. Once we get the staff in, we'll extend the hours. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 to 6. Friday, 11 to 5. Saturday, Sunday, close. But say someone wants to do a shoot on Saturday. They can call the studio during the week, book the time, staff will be there to do the shoot. Say somebody gets out of work at 6 and wants to do a show at 7 or 8 o'clock. If they make an appointment, we will be there and the studio will be open. Studio is not locked. We are on Essex Street, so we have a buzzer, because the offices are upstairs. They're not in the front of the building, they're on the back of the building. Our offices overlook Methuen Street. So for safety, security, especially with the new equipment, you just come to the front door, buzz, and when somebody's there, we'll answer, we're always there, so someone will come downstairs, answer the door, and bring in. So we are open. As far as shows are concerned, we have this gentleman in the back that's been with us when it was Comcast. And the other gentleman is on his way in who does the other religious show. And I just gotta, because I took this a little out of order. We have a list of brand-new shows. We have an outreach coordinator that's going out and getting new shows. If I can find the list, it was right here a minute ago. Brought everything we needed tonight. Okay, here it is. Okay. So the list of new shows, the studio in-house shows. We have about 8 or 9 in-studio shows, mostly religious shows. We also have the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce in-house. We also film everything for the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce, no matter where it is. This morning, they had a Secretary of Commonwealth there at the breakfast. We filmed that for them. So that'll be up and running. St. Patrick's Parish, Lawrence Heritage State Park, the MVRTA, the COVID Eviction Legal Help Project, the VFW, International Veterans Care Services, Ancient Order of the Hibernians, Lawrence Public Library. My staff was there this morning at an event you guys had at the library. St. Alfio Society, Bread and Roses. And what we're doing with the Bread and Roses St. Alfio since I took over is a little different. I'm not going to speak what my predecessor did because I wasn't there that long. But he would take most public access stations, and it doesn't matter what festival we're doing, then the one coming up June 4th will be the same thing. Staff will be there all day filming, and you'll probably get a 4 or 5 hour video on TV out of this. It's not going to be cut down to a 1 hour show. Bread and Roses is about an 8-part series. We're just finishing that up. So you'll get to see everything that took place at Bread and Roses. We also went live from Bread and Roses. We have the equipment now to go live from the Bread and Roses, and we also did it for the Feast of the Three Saints. We were live all weekend. People in Italy were watching the show. And you could also see it live on our brand-new updated website that's brand new and fully updated. Some of the other shows, Gail Haney, right now, we've done that before. Merrimack Valley, City of Lawrence, the Valley Patriot, Groundworks Lawrence, Trails and Sales, which is 250 free events in Essex County. If anything takes place in Lawrence, we film it, or in the area, and show it. It's all historical stuff. I can leave you this list if you'd like, because there's a total of about 45, 50 shows, and we're still building the list. So that's what we've been doing, trying to clean up. One of the issues we are having is that today's library event came through my vice president that somebody sent them. We're not getting the press releases. So if we don't get the press releases, and my outreach coordinator don't see it in the newspaper, how can we be there? We would be at more Lawrence events, filming more Lawrence events if we got the press releases. And we haven't gotten the press releases. Then we can film more Lawrence events. We have one intern, we're bringing in another intern. We actually, we're building up the staff, and like I said, if anybody wants to film on the weekend, they just gotta make an appointment and we'll be open. A lot of studios were open later, but due to COVID, everybody's shut back. Some people use HC Media. I've been involved there a long time, Haverhill Community Television. I'm involved in a bunch of public access stations. That's how I learned about this. I learned this ground zero. Filming shows and talking to directors and employees of all these public access stations. And then when I came over here, I started implementing stuff I learned to make this station a better station. And that's what we've been doing, slowly but surely. And yes, we will have the hours back up, but until we get people that want to, I don't want staff sitting around at 8 o'clock at night if no one's going to come in the studio and film. I don't want, who would want to sit there all day and all night, even if you're one of the staff members? So once we start getting shows and people wanting to do shows, we'll open up on Saturday morning. And then I'll be back in front of you guys again, because Saturday becomes a huge parking issue, which has nothing to do with tonight, but I'll be back in front of you guys again if we have to open on Saturday, because there's a parking issue back there on Saturdays. So that's where we're at right now with the studio.
Okay, I know that all the council, they might have a question for you, but I have one specific.
Okay.
So how long, how much time in advance someone has to request to have a show recorded? Like, so let's say like, I want to have a show. We're going to
Yeah.
have, very soon we're going to have Hispanic Week.
Yes.
And we want to be filmed.
Okay.
So how much time in advance we need to notify you? Just come to the podium and,
Just give your name.
yeah, name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Christina Jascott. I'm the interim executive director at LCAT, and I live in North Andover on Union Street right now. I started at LCAT last year as the outreach coordinator, and until we hired Ms. Bidwell back there, who is now our current outreach coordinator, I was handling all shows, productions, in-house and out-of-house. So if someone wants to request that an event or anything like that be filmed, we don't have a specific time that they need to contact us by. It's just, of course, like anything, if someone's planning anything, the sooner we know about it, the more we can figure out and have that time to get the proper equipment, staff, and everything that they need, because we like to accommodate whatever nonprofit or business or organization is requesting something from us. We like to accommodate them in any way. If they want it showed a certain way, the longer we know about it, the more we can have time to figure out how to make that happen. So if it's something that's a little more complex, like we were gonna do with the YDMA, I'm sorry if I'm getting that acronym wrong, we were gonna do the mayoral debates back when the election was happening. We were in talks with one of the individuals from Groundworks and who also works there to do that for at least a month or so in advance. But if it's something as simple like a talk at the library or something like that, it could be a day or two in advance. It's just, we can't definitely say, yeah, we can do 4 cameras by tomorrow, because we don't even have 4 staff members that are trained on the cameras because of everything going on. But if it's a more complex event, the longer we know ahead of time is better. But we're never gonna just automatically say no. We will always try to find a way to film said event or community activity or anything like that. So there's no specific time, but the longer it is, the better. But yeah, that's.
Just to be on the safe side, what is the time frame? Like 2 weeks? If the event is going to be during the weekend, so it's going to be 2 weeks, 1 week?
Like
So-
for them to request for
Yeah,
us to
just to
film?
accommodate it then, and just for you to have what equipment you're going to be needing, just to accommodate them.
Yeah, so most events that we've done throughout the city have been not as complex as like the St. Alfio's Festival or Bread and Roses. Those are bigger events, they last all day. But if it's something typical like I said, like stuff at the library or any other nonprofit organization, sometimes we have as little as 2 days' notice, maybe even the day before, and we've gone out and successfully filmed most of those events. So it could be as short of a time span as that, but it all depends on the complexity of the event that they want recorded.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, Madam Chair, I want to thank you for everything you have done, but I'm not going to run around and thank you for every upgrade that you have done for the channel. But when are we going to have an upgrade up here? That's my first question. When are we getting piece of a pie so we can get upgrades up here and here that we deserve? That's the first, and then I'll follow up.
All right, regarding this issue, the way our attorneys had interpreted the contract, that's why I wish I asked because I have some of my own questions for Comcast and Verizon, that they don't return my call. in order to get the station fixed the way you see it now, Mrs. Holmes never got back to me. You know how I got the station fixed? I called Philadelphia. I called the board president of Comcast to get that fixed. She got back to me within 15 minutes. And this was after countless emails out to her and phone calls. I had to go all the way to the top. So we're still trying to figure out, the way we read the contract and the attorneys read the contract was 2, 2, and 2. Okay? So I'd like to sit down with your attorneys, our attorneys, and work something out where everybody will be happy and we can get this problem fixed totally for you. But we need to figure out where what percentage of what is, because it's so even in the contracts, the way it's been, the way I interpret it, the way you have interpreted it. So that's why I needed Verizon. I asked for Verizon to be here and Comcast, because some of these things I'm not even going to be able to answer. And Mike, who's been on the board for 17 years, this gentleman here, who's right behind me, can't even answer, because we don't even know how much money we're getting from them. We just know we get X amount of checks. And then last year, a couple checks fell out of leash, and that's the copies you guys got that we returned back to the city. Did you guys get that packet we left you?
Okay, so you're telling me that we need to call Philadelphia to get things done?
If I have to, I'll call them for you.
Again, you're asking me that we have to call Philadelphia to get things done the way you got it done? If that's what you're telling me. But that's fine. Through you, Madam Chair, can they read, or can they help me read? I don't know if they need their lawyer, but I want them, if it's possible, to read Article of Organization, Article 3. Can you read it?
Okay, so this is the Articles of Organization. All right. Lawrence Community Access, Inc., also referred to as a corporation, is a nonprofit charitable organization that was organized for the purpose of operating, maintaining, and managing the public and government cable station access facilities for the city of Lawrence. Lawrence Community Access Television, Inc. is organized to develop and promote cultural literacy, charitable community sports, public affairs programming over the public and government cable television access channels, including available accredited educational training programs. Lawrence Community Access Television will encourage the use of public television facilities, encouraging expression of ideas, opinions on a wide range of topics, as well as holding workshops for the purpose of teaching television skills in individuals and community groups. The corporation shall manage funds designated for the use and shall schedule the use of public and government access video equipment and facilities, shall assure non-commercial, non-discriminatory use of public and government access television facilities and channels. Lawrence Community Access Television, Inc. shall govern itself in accordance with all federal and local laws. Would you like this?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Yep,
It's LCAP compliant with all this? This is from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
correct. What I didn't give you guys,
Is LCAP compliant with? what
yeah,
you read?
we do not access, there was an agreement made. Separate from this, there was an agreement made, and I didn't see it in writing except somebody found this for me, some old emails, where they split the station. Most public access stations have one board, one set of employees. We'll use somebody's favorite, Haverhill, for 1 second. They have the school department, the public access station, and the government station, all under one board. In this city, it's 3 separate boards. You got the public, you got the education, and you got the government channel. 3 separate entities. And we have an email here from Patrick Blanchett to some of the councilors that talked about separating up the public access agreements. It's right here. And that's what they've been doing for a while now.
It's LCAP compliant with, but the
Yes, we
Commonwealth
have been
mandate.
doing, yes, we have been doing our
What you
shows.
read, are you guys compliant with that Commonwealth says on the article of organization. The first,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the third paragraph. I'm not going to go the whole list, so, because my colleagues might have questions. But are you ensuring me that in the year or two that you've been on the board, it's been compliant with this?
Yes, we have been doing public access shows. We have our religious shows, and then the list of shows I did mention were all shows, and you have your own station that has their own people working here. So yes, we have been doing this because we do not run the government station. It's been a separate board for years. It's not like the other public access stations.
No more questions, Madam Chair.
Any other counselor? Counselor Rodriguez.
Good evening. So essentially, we have a few things here that I would like to go over with you. So I wanted to clarify something that my colleague just said, and you respond to him, just ask and you respond to him. So what are the stations that you guys are running? I want to hear from you.
Okay, our station is the public station. You have the government station and the education station. On the public access station, we run shows that are religious, historical, educational based as far as stuff that the Chamber of Commerce does, the mayor's breakfast. Today, they had a state person in talking about economics and stuff like that. That's what we're running on our station right now. We do not broadcast this. We actually did, as a favor, they asked us to come in, and we did do it live. We actually ran when you guys get sworn in, they asked us to come in, and they wanted it on all three stations, and we did. We ran ours live, the education ran theirs, and the government ran theirs. So we came in and did that. But the public end of the station is there, and that's what we do. We run public shows, public events, and that's what the job of the public side of it is. The education is education, and government would be government. In most cities and towns, it's one board, and they would control everything.
So
This town and city, it's different.
So let me ask you, the money that you guys are receiving are only for the public station portion of the contract with Comcast and Verizon.
Correct. That's the way I read the contract, and that's the way the attorneys...
No,
read
I'm
it.
talking about, that's the money that you guys receiving.
Correct,
Okay, so you guys are not receiving nothing else.
correct.
Okay. So I'm gonna take your word on that. And I wanted to ask you about the requirement time that Madam Chair was asking as of how you guys pursue to cover something, and you guys say that it's not time required, that it's just a matter of communicating and make the effort to actually make things happen.
Correct. Email us, call us, and we'll make, we already have scheduled shoots, but if I have to, I'll find more volunteers to accommodate. We try to accommodate everybody, because we
So
do have stuff
essentially-
booked already.
Essentially, different than any public event, we think that these type of meetings are one of the most important public events that people might see, and you guys require 2 weeks to be here today. Why?
Because we wanted to make sure we were ready for this meeting. I mean, we know what's going on. There's not much I'm going to get too deep into this for reasons we're not going to discuss tonight. Okay?
So there
But-
is reasons behind that people knows, everybody knows, but doesn't want to, you guys don't want to say it.
No?
Say it in public. People deserve to know.
Well, the reasons why, we wanted to make sure we were ready, because we wanted to make sure we were ready for the press and everybody else that showed up tonight. We wanted to make sure everything was in order, and then we found a few other things along the way. Like, this piece of paper I got right here where Council Blanchett asked us that the money that the government channel receives goes into a separate bank account. I got the email right here. We had these in our old records. We had to go through our record box like every other nonprofit. You can only keep so much in a filing cabinet. just like your own tax
So
records
you're
and private
saying,
business records.
can you read that email? Because you're referring to that email a couple of times, so for the record,
Yeah.
I would like to. you to
I will
that
read
email.
this in, okay, so I'm gonna give you the whole date on this and everything, right through the whole top, it's an email. From Patrick J. Blanchett, Thursday, February 22nd, 2007 at 10:26 a.m. To Nicholas J. Kalopoulos, CC Grisel Silva, Gilbert K. Frechette, and Maria Goslin. Subject document 24.
24 of 2007.
Yes.
Okay.
Please note, I'm in full support of Councilor DeMarco and Councilor Silva's proposal to televise Board of the Commission meetings. I'm very proud to report, since I became president of City Council some 3 years ago, all regular special subcommittee meetings and city council meetings have been televised on Channel 22 for the public. It is also important to note that I've sent several invitations to all boards offering the use of Channel 22 over the past 3 years. The only boards that contact me have been the Licensing Board, under the leadership of Mr. Toomey, and no other board has requested the use of Channel 22. Now, remember, this is 207. It is also important to note any meeting government body should be televised on Channel 22, not Channel 8. The channel is designated for this use. And also pleased to note that the city receives monies from Comcast each year that could be used to pay for these individual these meetings. The city council budget has money to pay for our meetings. However, I would recommend the Comcast money be used for taping boards, commissions that go into separate account for this purpose. As you know, the city council has 3 individuals highly trained to tape meetings and would be available to assist in this matter. We, the city council, would just make arrangements to have our office open for tapings of these meetings. However, if we use our staff, John and Bill in quotes, it should not be a problem. Again, I support this matter, and unfortunate that the boards and commissions, is this the one? There's a couple different ones. So that's the end of that one, of this one here.
So since that point in 2007, you guys never received any more funds from the government. That's what you're saying?
We receive our funds that's earmarked, to my best of my knowledge, and the attorneys who looked into this, the 2% to run the public education, the public side of the PEG stations.
So,
And if you guys want to work with us on new equipment, we don't have a problem with that, okay? The problem we do have was people come in at the last minute and drop a bill in front of us. Now, we were upgrading our studio, as I just said. We probably could have got a better deal using the people we did. So little more communication. See, that's the key here, communication. We don't have any communication from the city. The communications, we get very little emails when events are going on. It's, thank God some of my board members are involved in the community, I am too, so we hear things. And then once in a while, I'll see something on Facebook that either Mr. Duggan puts out or somebody else will put out, and we'll write it down. But we're
Yeah, but
getting
I mean,
no official.
you need to understand that the communication is so bad that we need to take 3 weeks forcing people for you guys to come in front of us. That's how bad it is. And it's not from us only. It's from you as well, from LCAT. Because we wait for 3 weeks to have this conversation. A conversation that should happen at any time, any moment, any specific time with not 2 weeks notice. After we actually schedule a meeting for a week. So 3 weeks pass by and we have a conversation with you guys. Obviously, it is difficult to work that way.
I also invited you guys to the studio. You have that email too? When I
Yeah,
canceled,
but I mean,
I
I'm not-
invited
I'm not-
individuals to the studio, sir.
I'm not the council, I'm a councilor.
Yes.
So we are councilor individually. As a council, we're here. And we do these meetings. And this is what is official. Obviously, if we get invited to a location, I have been there once in 6.5 years. It was, when I went there, I felt like, it's a nice facility. But I haven't been invited to other things like I wish. But that's not the point. The point is we are not, individual councilors, not the city council. So having a meeting like this, it's what matters. Let me go back to the contract. Well, essentially to the notice. How are we gonna ensure that if it is something that the public needs, you guys are not gonna come up with a 2 weeks notice?
If you need us back at any time, and you got my word on this, and most of you councilors don't know me from a hole in the wall, but when I make my word on things, I keep it. If you need me back, we will come back,
No,
okay?
and when I
But
said,
need-
when I said you, it's
Yeah.
not you, it's the organization, nothing personal.
Right.
Okay, just for the record.
I know it's not personal, I'd
Yeah.
still go out and have coffee with you afterwards if you want, or any of you. So that's not the issue. If you need us back next week, let us know, we'll come back next week. You want us back next month? That's fine. But I wanted to make sure we had everything in order, because I knew it was gonna be about the contract, and I knew it was gonna be about certain sums of money. And you guys do get some money. We had some money dropped into our account. You remember what it was, Mike? Because I sent $67,000 that was shipped to us from Comcast that we gave back to the city last year.
Yeah, I
You
can
got
see
that in an email, you got that, the canceled
Can see it
checks.
here, yeah.
That, and the way I read that is it was for capital improvements. I have the email right here. I didn't send you guys the email. We wanted to hold on to that, but we have the email. It says for capital improvements. Capital improvements would go into fixing the sound system, the cameras. And if it's $67,000 for capital improvements, and that's every year, shouldn't that money, in my opinion, that money should be set aside for capital improvements to the system?
Let me ask
Where's
you,
the rest of the money gone?
Now that you touched the money side of the Verizon and Comcast contract with the city, how much you guys are getting?
We get 2%, Mike? 300,000 a year. Mike's the one that handles the books.
So about 300,000 or 300,000 exact?
Mike?
I'm Mike Garahy, I'm the treasurer. I live at 210 Merrimack Street in Lawrence. In the year 2019, which is 2020, the last year available, we received $299,318 from Comcast and Verizon.
Repeat that information again, please.
It was $299,318. That's money from Verizon and Comcast.
What year?
2020.
Thank you.
Do you have the money from previous, like the last 2 years? So we can.
No, I don't have it with me tonight, but it's approximately the same amount, within 10,000 of that, I'd say.
So the city get $67,000. It was not a writing email or anything like that.
I don't know, the money was deposited in our account. I'm not sure if that was in the same amount of 299. I wasn't able to discern that, because it was, I believe it was in 2021 that we gave the 67,000. And our tax return yet has not been finished for that year.
So let's go back to the contract now. We have 3 contracts, as far as I know. If I'm wrong, we can probably have the attorneys involved. and
Well,
they can
really, the
figure it
best
out.
thing would be if Comcast was here or
No, I mean,
Verizon, because
but-
they're the ones that can answer a lot of these questions.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
really
no
can.
worry. I'm not gonna go into the details because 2 of those contracts are city contract with Comcast and city contract with Verizon. So that you guys are not there.
No, we have no say at that all.
So, and then we have a contract with LCAT to run those programs, city and LCAT.
Right.
So, since 2017, that contract expired for
Yes.
you guys as a vendor.
Yes, right.
Then 2 current contracts that we have with Verizon and Comcast that we signed, I believe, in 2020, 21, something like that. I don't remember the date. 2020. So there is now a vendor listed on those 2 contracts.
That's true.
So am I right? Are we
Right,
on the same
you're right.
page?
You're right, right.
Okay. So we have 3 contracts in place, one that is expires with LCAT, and another one, and the other two that are from 2020 with Verizon and Comcast.
Well, our agreement would not be a contract. It would be a letter of agreement or a letter of understanding. It wouldn't be a contract, our agreement
All
with the
right,
city.
that's something that the attorneys can discuss, and I'm not sure personally. But since 2017, there is nothing on the book that says that you guys are the vendor.
Well, we've requested from the city over the years to address that issue. And we've invested quite a bit of money in our studio and equipment with the assumption that we were going to still be the provider. And the city has never told us otherwise. And I think if that's the case, they had a legal obligation to tell us that they were not going to continue with us. So we assume that we are the vendor because they just let it go on for the last 4 years, you know? That's something that the lawyers will have to look at,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely. Those are the attorneys
Yeah.
need to
But
look
you're right,
at
there
it.
is no letter of agreement right now. There is
Yeah,
not.
I just want to make sure that that's on the record because, I mean, we're discussing
Yeah.
contract, we're discussing funds, we have a contract with Comcast and Verizon. So that's important to mention.
Yeah.
But my question will be based on the actual need in the programming that you guys are running that perhaps don't necessarily are covering people, what people cares the most. And that's why probably a lot of people are losing interest in watching that channel.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. What's that?
I'm gonna put it in another word.
Okay.
That's exactly what happened. That is exactly what is happening in the community. A lot of people don't understand the programming, just like you didn't understand what I just said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Lawrence is looking a little different for the last couple of years. It's not the same anymore. It's something that the community is looking for to have, and that they're paying for. Because every time that they ask me why my bill, I have these $2, $3, $4, $5 extra on my bill, and Verizon doesn't know how to. I don't get what Verizon is saying or what Comcast is saying, that there is a channel in Lawrence that are getting that money. I try to explain to them. I say, what is that channel? Because I never watch it. It's nothing interesting there for me. Why do I need to keep on paying for that? And I have no answer because, as a matter of fact, I don't have that answer from you guys. And it is tough for me to defend what you guys are doing at this moment.
We put on the shows that the community, first of all, the community has to come in and do some of the shows. You know, they have to produce the shows and come in there. And we have some people that do that. They come in, we put the shows on, and we try to, you know, obtain material that is interesting. But, you know, I don't know how to respond to that, really.
It is difficult because, I mean, I don't think that the channel has have an open doors policy
do you have
that
specific-
allow people to go in and ask to see if they be able to produce a show. And when they have a lot of negativity, something that is not related to the channel, something that is not quite to the point that is interested to LCAT and therefore is not transmitted or produced it.
Okay, sir, I want to bring back Christina. She'll answer the question for you. 'cause
Come back,
she's the
Christina.
Yeah.
I noticed that, sorry. I noticed that Mike didn't know the answer because he's on the board, he handles finances, that's what the board does. Yeah, so no, don't apologize. You're I hate interrupting, I just wanted to answer your question because this is what we're here for. So to answer your question, there aren't a lot of things that a lot of people would find interesting, but since I've started last June, my position was solely to reach out to nonprofits and people in the community to do events with us, and kind of, we've been trying to kind of rebrand or make a new foundation for LCAT. I've gotten, out of the hundreds of emails I've sent out, phone calls, emails, visiting people, I've maybe gotten about a dozen people who have even responded. So we're making that effort time and time again to see these people. We're going to chamber events, we're going to networking events, we're trying to meet people in the community. And if we're only getting people who are answering us that are either right over the line in Lawrence or other categories that are not solely in Lawrence, like the Exchange Club. There's one in Lawrence, but there's one that does things with Haverhill and Lawrence, for example, and we cover those events, but people are asking us why we're not doing anything in Lawrence. It's because nobody's reaching out. We can't force them to be on camera. We are reaching out, trying to get them on camera with us, and they either don't know we're there or they don't want to be on camera. And we've been trying to build it, and we've gotten much better over the past year, just seeing from an in-house perspective that I didn't know about LCAT before I applied there and got the job. I didn't know any of these individuals.
All right.
But the amount of effort we're putting in to reach out to the community, we're not getting anything back.
I'm gonna tell you a few things that from the top of my head just come up.
Of course.
And that's something that I think is interested. Yesterday, we have the first ball thrown by the chief of police and the mayor for the softball games on Lawrence Street. Lawrence, believe it or not, is the capital of softball throughout the United States. The place that play the most softball per capita in the United States is Lawrence.
Oh, I know.
That get covered?
No, we never got contacted from my knowledge and our other outreach coordinator. We don't hear about events like these, but
No, and
these are the
trust
ones
me,
we want to
I don't
cover.
want to put you on the spot, but
You're
I'm
fine.
going to give you a few things that happened in Lawrence in the last few weeks. We have the Semana Hispana. They have a couple of events going on that happened a few weeks ago that never got covered. We have other organizations that come to us for permits here,
Yeah.
like almost on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
That all those events are going on throughout the community. And essentially, they probably don't know that we have a channel that might cover those.
They probably don't. And that's what we're trying to change. We're trying to reach out and let them know that we are here. I've started making a list since I knew that we were going to be coming in front of the council of events that have gone on in the past couple weeks. I don't have that list with me, unfortunately, I forgot it. But like the Green Communities event with Governor Baker, all these events we're not getting contacted about until after the fact. And we're not blaming one specific party or entity. We're simply saying that if maybe there was a way that we could communicate with the city council and other people in the community, whether it's like a community calendar we all share or something like that, we wouldn't have to, I don't want to say waste each other's time, but we know that we're all busy people. If we have a calendar that we all can share about events, that way we would know ahead of time or even know that day is something coming up that day, we would be able to cover it, and there would be much more things of people's interest, like you said, that aren't on the station, as well as us not having to constantly contact people when they're like, why do we need to contact you? You should know. If we all had things that we could share with each other, I feel like that would be better for the community.
No, because the thing is, like, I feel like there is people that are like regular people
Yeah,
that they always go to events. They're always on multiple events.
yeah.
And they don't get the official notification like I do as a counselor. I have that privilege.
Well, how would they find out about these events?
That's basically the job that you guys need to do. I mean, that's basically.
We have been doing that. I've had that outreach coordinator position for over 6 months. I was on Facebook, LinkedIn, all of these different websites. I was calling people, I was emailing. I don't know what other way there is other than seeing people, looking online, contacting them and visiting, and looking at flyers around town. But if we're not seeing it and we're trying our best to see it, if we're asking to have communication with the city, and if you guys want to have communication with us or are wondering why we're not communicating as fast as you want, why are we not just putting that aside and all communicating together to show that stuff on the station? It's like if we just have that communication fixed, I'm not saying it's anyone's issue, it's probably just something that we could easily fix if we all communicated about
But
that.
the thing is, like, we're missing the issue here. We have the city is doing what they need to do, getting the money from Comcast and Verizon and having you guys administrating that.
Yes.
So you guys need to do that because the city already signed a contract to get the funds.
Yeah,
and
we are
funds are the
doing that.
main issue all the time.
We are doing that. It's just, if there's an event that certain departments know about, they can't expect other people to know about it. And I'm not saying you guys are. I'm just saying, if there's an event going on at the library, how would we know if it's not broadcasted out there, or the library doesn't contact us, or anybody who is a part of the event doesn't contact us? If we're looking on their website and say an organization's website isn't up to date, or they didn't post online, there's no way for us to see this. And that's why I have been trying to contact these organizations to form a relationship with them so they will contact us, or we can have an updated version of that. And since I've been trying to do that, I've noticed that a lot of people either don't respond or don't have updated things online or out in the city. So if we're contacting them and we're not getting anything back, that's not something that should have to fall on us if we're not covering community events when we are trying our absolute best and doing things that other cable access stations are doing.
No, but the thing is like, No,
But that is the thing. You're saying that we're not covering events that are interesting to the community when we are trying. And if we can communicate with people and do that like we've been trying to do, then we can't just know about events if they come up with it and don't tell us.
Well,
It's not that we're expecting them to solely just contact us and tell us, but if there was something that, say, the government head of things wanted to film and it wasn't broadcasted or sent it anywhere in any form of notification, how would we know to film it? You know what I
Right.
mean? And we want to film those things because, like I said, well, like they've been saying, not me, LCAT is for the community. We're trying to do that. We want to film these events so that way everyone can be there if they're not actually there.
well, I'll tell you this much. It is, what you say is partially right, but a lot of what you say is an excuse. I'm sorry.
Can I ask what part?
Yeah, but a lot of it, because at the end of the day, fund is the issue. And if you guys are getting the funds to do the work, we have, like I said, how long ago did you guys receive the agenda from the city council?
I'm not on the board of directors. I work at the station, and I am answering the fact of the outreach, which I believe will solve one of the big chunk issues we
Okay,
have.
you haven't seen in the last 6 months, and trust me, I don't want to put you in the spot. In the last 6
I'm
months,
already here, it's fine.
in the last 6 months, you haven't seen our agenda. What we have.
Agenda or like press releases?
No, our agenda.
Like for the city council for
Yes.
your meetings, like throughout the months?
Yes.
I've seen press releases, that's
No.
basically the soul of what I've been
Oh,
seeing.
no, hold on. You haven't seen that, right? Yes, no.
Videos or like paper form, like I don't, no, I have not.
Okay, thank you. That's the answer.
I just wanted to clarify what you're saying.
Yes, I think that you should look at that if you want to get community events happening, because they ask for permission here.
Yes.
All right, so that's one problem there that is not being solved, and it's a bunch of excuses from both parties. It's a communication issues, but the problem is bigger than that. But anyway, let's go back to the open door policy. And I know that you guys probably angry, mad, or whatever, but we need to talk about this because we haven't talked about this for years. And I think that if we want to solve the problem, this is the place to do it. So, open policy. How somebody that wanted to produce a show, perhaps, how that work?
So if
I mean,
somebody.
I just passionate about TV, and I walk through the doors. Walk me through.
So if you walk through the door, we'll walk up to you, and we'll talk to you, we'll show you around the studio, we'll ask you what kind of program you want to produce. Say it's, I don't know, say it's like a news show you want to do.
So I
You
say
want-
that I want to broadcast the people coming to city council. I don't know,
Cool.
whatever.
Yeah, sure. So say we use that. As long as it is in line with our FCC guidelines, which every cable access station in the US has to go by, then you can film your show here. Since I've been here, which is the only I can speak because, of course, since I've been here, anybody who has walked through that door or has called us, emailed us, whatever, asking to do a show, I would contact them, have a personal meeting with them, me and said producer or organization or whoever, go over in this detail what they want to get from this, what they want to show, where they want to show it, and I would make it my job with them to make sure that they produce a show and have a product at the end that they're happy with. And if it is something that we can air on public access TV, which if it doesn't follow our FCC guidelines, we are not allowed legally to produce anything like that, we would send that copy to them. So everyone who does a show, they get a digital copy. If they want a physical copy, they can ask us for that as well. So as long as they follow the guidelines, they are allowed to shoot a show here. We don't charge. Everything is completely free. They can walk in. It's just if we're doing a show at the moment or we're, in the middle of doing something else, we can't drop them that second, but we'll make sure that we accommodate them with when they're available, when they want to do things and how they want to do things. We'll have them come back to the studio or we go to them and we shoot whatever they would like.
All right, so I'm just going to release the floor to other councilors in the meantime, but I want to ask you one last question.
Yeah.
And please go over those, can you go over those guidelines that you are just
The
mentioning?
FCC guidelines. So I don't have the packet on me. It's like reading terms and conditions. It's a huge list of what is allowed and not allowed on cable television. You can find them on the FCC website, or if you want, I can send you a copy after the meeting. It's a big list of just rules that you can't go by. Like, we're not allowed to produce on our station for-profit organizations. So if like somebody with a business comes in that it's for-profit, we as a nonprofit are supposed to only produce and air nonprofits. So that's one of the many rules that they have. Certain profanity
Can you,
rules are in
can you
there.
mention like at least 5 that are the most common violated guidance list that people don't follow and you
Yeah,
guys say no to?
so profanity with explicit language, we're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to show things that provoke violence or actions of violence or any sort of discrimination or anything like that. Another one was, when you follow the FCC guidelines, you are not allowed to do for-profit for a nonprofit. We are not allowed to do that. So stuff like those are the main ones that people don't know. And as we were, before we got called here, I was actually in the middle of rewriting our rules and regulations because I had noticed that it hadn't been updated since before Mr. Spitaleri had been on the board, and I brought it to their attention, and we're in the process of updating it because it hasn't been updated since James Ross, who passed away, our previous president, since he was here. So we're still in the process of kind of, when it was given, what I was understood was the studio had a lot of things that hadn't been updated in years under Mr. Ross's reign. So what we're trying to do is update those things to what would work now in the city, along with following those FCC guidelines. So if we are still in the process of doing that, once those are completely done, we're gonna have our new and updated rules and regulations on our website, so anybody who can't come into the studio or just wants to know about them, we will have those there. FCC guidelines can be found all over the internet. I can also print it. It's the whole US has to go by the FCC guidelines. It's like any normal television station. It's just, since we're a nonprofit, we gear our stuff towards nonprofits. We have the duty to put nonprofits on our station, and that's what we are trying to do.
Okay, Councilor Levy?
Thank you, Councilor. Through you, Councilor Reyes. You say that you have been trying to get in touch with so many agencies and people in the community to make sure that they know that we had this LCAT TV for the community. But how many times have you been trying to get in touch with us as a city council? Because we had never, ever received any communication from you guys saying we had this kind of activity, or we would like your help to reach the community too.
Is that towards me or to Mr. Spitaleri?
Whoever that would like to.
Because I've only been here since June. I wanted to make sure you get your answer.
Yes, I understand.
No,
the,
you're fine.
the last time that I heard from the ERCA was 2017. And not because I just get the invitation. This is when you open on SX3. Okay, and not because we get the invitation. Somebody else called me to let me know that you have an activity, and because I was working right across the street, I just went to ERCA. But we as a council have never ever received any invitation or anything from
I'm going to
you
let
guys.
Mr. Spitaleri speak. I wasn't here in 2017. Thank you.
Neither was I, no problem. Thanks, Christina. If you'd like, we can either send an email to the council when we're doing stuff, or if you'd like a report from us once every couple months, I will be more than happy to come in here and give you guys an update. I don't have a problem with that at all. At all. I've invited counselors, I've invited you guys. Yes, I hadn't reached out yet because we were still working on something, and we will be reaching out because we're actually redoing the whole studio and having the studio renamed. I'm just waiting, I got to figure out how to get the permits done through the city now that City Hall is open, so I can come down and get because it's an outside thing, you need permitting and all this other stuff. But if your council would like, I will come up once a month and give you guys an update. I don't have a problem with that. My cell phone is available 24/7. I represent many different organizations in the Merrimack Valley. And I have my own stuff that I do that keeps my phone ringing all night long. So any of the councils need to reach out to me, I'm the easiest guy to reach. Sometimes I might say, I got to call you right back because I got 3 other phone calls, but I do get back to people. So I don't mind coming up here.
When
once a-
does the LCAT meet?
LCAT meets the second Tuesday of every month.
Are the meeting open to,
Meeting is open to the public.
and are the
we
city
start
council
around
allowed to come?
What, ma'am?
Are members of the city council allowed to come to the meeting?
Anyone in the public's allowed to come. It is a public meeting.
Okay.
We
Do
have it
you
in our
produce
studio.
a report, an hour report that is public?
Yes, we have our minutes and everything that have been filed with the state. We are updated with the state. I don't know where, I went online to look. I don't think the state's updated their website, but according to
I think
Mike,
so
who
that the
handles
last
our
one
stuff,
that we
will-
were able to get, the last report that we were able, is from 2019. I think
correct.
so.
I don't know why, but we are. So, and we have confirmation that we are safe in 2020, 2021's being done now. I think we got to May 15th? So I don't know what's going on at the state website, but we have filed the new board members that you got are listed. I gave you, you just got your copy. They've all been filed. We have an account that goes through everything. It's double checked and triple checked, and actually quadruple checked, the way the accountant firm that we have does things.
And all of the expenditures that you had is also public?
Correct. Everything is public. I have an open door policy with all my nonprofits. This isn't my first rodeo.
So will you be able to provide us how the money is being expended, so maybe from 2018?
Yeah, we can do that, but we need to get that through the accountant firm. I mean, I don't have it with me tonight. I'd have to
No,
call
I-
the accountant tomorrow.
We understand that you will not have it with you tonight, but we would like to see, all the expenditures, or maybe from 2018, how the
2000
things is
yeah.
being done.
Oh, I can drop that off at the city council secretary, or where would you like that dropped off or emailed?
Yeah, you can send it through the email.
All right, Mike, you got a pen? I left
It's
mine.
okay, Madam Chair?
I just want to write this down so you got it. 2000 and what, ma'am?
From 2018,
Okay, 2018, 19, and 20,
and 2021.
Got it.
So I saw that the last check that you paid to the city of Lawrence was in November. When the next check is coming for this year? We haven't seen any payment for this year.
Mike, can you answer? That's the check.
I don't have that information. We did get a payment for this year. We did. Came, I think, in February.
Did you pay for this year?
I beg your pardon?
Did you already pay for this year? Did you make any
You can
payment?
come to, you have to come to the podium and answer the question, because I'm sorry.
What, did we make a payment, did you say?
Yes, what I see in here, that's the check that you reported is from 2021, the last payment. So when are you gonna do a payment for
Are you
this
saying,
year?
we don't make a payment? I'm sorry, I don't understand. You mean pay our we don't pay taxes? We get the money from Comcast.
The two checks.
The check-
Money they owe
The two checks, well, the city came to us and said that by error, money was deposited into our account.
Okay.
I checked and it was true. They gave us extra money, so I sent the check in May or June, and then I sent a second check in November. I don't know, I haven't seen a similar check come in or a deposit. You know, I would like to know where the $67,000 went, because I assumed that it was going to be used to upgrade the city hall. I really assumed that. That's why I was so willing to send the money over, because I thought they were going to upgrade your studio here.
Michael Garilli
Harry,
was
that's
the-
correct, yes.
Okay. Then that was sent in November 30.
I beg your pardon?
It was sent to us in November 30.
That's right, November 30th, that's correct. Went to the city hall, city attorneys.
To the city attorney?
Yeah, and I thought they were going to use it for the purpose of upgrading the city council and the city hall cameras.
So every year you saying?
I don't know, this is the first time that I saw that happen was in 2021. I didn't see it happen before that, and it hasn't happened yet for this year. So they may send the money right to the city now, I don't know. But if it does come to us, we'll turn it over to the city.
So have you provided during the last, let's see, during the last 3 years, any support to improve the government access also television?
Other than the 67,000, no, we
No.
didn't send any money over, no.
Do you have a contract with Hebron and Methuen too?
No.
So how do you provide service to Hebron and Methuen?
What do you mean? I didn't.
Oh, some of the,
Just get
some of the
whoever's gonna
channels may go
answer.
out there, but we don't, they may pick us up on their own.
Okay, so LCAT
Yes.
is shown in Lawrence and in Methuen. You can see LCAT and
Yes, I know. I
Okay.
understand. Yes.
Haverhill is totally separate. In this area here, this is the only state in the union that has this problem. Like, let me just slip over this way real quick. I've been involved with public access stations all over New England, so I have quite the background. I filmed a show one, I'm just gonna make this real quick and then I'll answer you, just so you get an idea. I filmed somebody that did a show with me, not in Lawrence, at another event, a fundraiser that I ran for another nonprofit, because I do run nonprofit fundraisers myself, separate from LCAT, okay? They came up from Rhode Island, they filmed it. I was getting calls from all over Rhode Island. Rhode Island, if you film in Providence, you can be seen on every station. Here in Massachusetts, you can't. You have to bicycle the programs or share them, okay? That is wrong. Now, Verizon, we had a medical issue at my house, and we had to switch from Comcast to Verizon. I did not stop watching Verizon. You know what I watched? 27 channels of public access, okay? When you go to Comcast, the only area Comcast is being shown is in those 3 communities for Lawrence. I would like to, that's why I wanted these people here tonight, so we can answer more questions, to have this so everybody can get in. And I said that years ago when I won a regional award for one of the shows I did. I said that at the award ceremony, and I stand by it. This stuff needs to go out so the nonprofits in Lawrence can get their word out there, okay? That's the idea, getting the word out to the public. Now, to clear up the FCC thing, just one quick thing, because if, I'm going to use Councilor Plant. He's got a nice book out there. We can have him on, okay, the things you do. But the only thing we cannot advertise, or we would be fined, would be the price of the book. So that would be against the FCC guidelines. But we can tell people to go to X website and order the book. We just can't announce the price of the book. That's all that's one of the bigger, and that's what, now we got the hand of this. There's a new board, new ideas, things are moving forward, and they've been moving forward for a while now. We just got to get to, and there's no one's talking in circles. I'm very active in a bunch of these communities, and I don't even get everything that comes out of Lawrence, okay? We need to find and we will work on this at LCAT, to find a better way to get things in Lawrence and people there. The event this morning at the library, we only found that out like 2 days ago, and that was because a former member of Lawrence Cable sent it to one of my board members because she's a former member of the library. So, I mean, I wish we had better communication. If the Eagle Tribune, Telemundo, Rumbo gets press releases, we should be on the same press release list. That would help. We are planning on doing the July 4th event. We will have video people there all day long. And I know some of the other festivals are coming back. We're trying to find their websites and everything else to make sure we have staff there filming.
Madam Chair, through you. My question was because sometimes I've been seeing people with the camera that say LCAT in Methuen, and also I haven't seen, one time I saw it in Hebron, in something that, an activity that they have it in there. That's why I asked if you have a contract with Methuen.
No,
or you
we have
a
no
contract
contracts with
Haverhill,
Methuen
that
or
they can
Haverhill.
use the equipment for the ERCAT over there?
No,
No?
nope.
Okay. Thank you.
The only thing I can think of was the Chamber of Commerce, and we go everywhere with Joe Bevilacqua and Mike Sullivan. If they call us to go somewhere, we film everything. It's in Haverhill, it's in Andover, North Andover. He asked us to film everything for him. And since the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce is based on Essex Street, they're a Lawrence-based nonprofit. So we do film all his government stuff. That is correct. Maybe that's what it was. Thanks, Bob.
So it's very, very welcome and appreciated. So if any time that you have a meeting or you have any activity or whatever, to send something, an email to us, that we should know, on that regard, and that we can or be there or be present or get in communication. But like you mentioned a couple of times,
Yep.
communication is the big problem that we are having in here. There is no communication in between.
All right. So what we're going to do is we will email the city council clerk, is that what you want, or individual councils? So we can set up the emails. How would you like it done, Counselor? Through the clerk?
Madam Chair?
or-
City clerk and city.
I'm asking how
It
you
could
want
be
us
the
to send
city,
it.
yes, we can
She
send
can
it to the
forward
city
to us.
clerk and forward to us.
Okay,
It can be, our secretary also.
okay. So I'm going to,
So there are so many ways that you can reach all of us.
okay. That's not a problem. We will email all the board meeting agendas and everything to the secretary, your secretary. We'll
Yes.
get that email. I'll have somebody call tomorrow, make sure we get the right email. And we'll put it on, we'll send out a test email and we'll be all, and then you'll get the agenda and everything for the upcoming meeting, which is next Tuesday night.
But principal, the report that we are asking for.
And the
The
2018,
financial report, yes, from the 2018.
19, 20, and 21, correct?
Yes.
All right, we will get that to you. We have to contact tomorrow, we'll make a contact out to our person that handles the books, and we'll get that out to you.
Madam Chair.
2021's done. That's
Councilor
2022 we're still
President.
waiting on, right? Okay, 2022, we're still waiting on. Oh, 2021's being done, I'm sorry. You'll get the rest of them when 2021 is done, we'll send it to you. Okay? I just want to make sure we were clear on that one. Sorry about that. Sorry for interrupting you guys.
So 2021 is not ready yet?
Correct. I just asked Mike,
Or
2020,
so how long it's going to take, or when do you think that maybe?
Maybe another month or so.
Okay.
but as soon as it's done, we'll get that one to you.
Your fiscal year is from January to December, from June to June?
Ours is a calendar year. Yeah, we do the calendar year for the fiscal year.
Yeah, from January to December?
The December 31st, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor President.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to ask Mr. Ryanella, who's, I think, with us, just get his reaction and response to some of the statements regarding funding that has gone to LCAT that's now there. There's been some allegations of money that there was apparently some sort of understanding or interpretation or belief that money was going to be brought back here for infrastructure repair. So I do see Mr. Ryanella is with us, and if you've been monitoring this, Mr. Ryanella, I'm curious just to kind of get your reaction from some of the comments that were provided to us. For you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Well, I think one of the things that was, the 2 checks that came in, those were supposed to be sent to the city. They were not supposed to go to LCAT. That was part of the renewal contracts with Verizon and Comcast. So they just accidentally, I think it was Comcast accidentally kept sending it to LCAT. So they returned that money to the city. It was never intended for them. So they didn't donate $67,000 to the city. That was from Comcast. I think the other thing that is indicated were the financial statements. The financial statements that you were just talking about, they're generally done a year after the year end. So the last financial statement I have, which was on the Secretary of State's website, was from 2019. and that was filed in December of 20. So 20 will be filed at the end of calendar year 21, so that's probably just been filed, it just hasn't shown up, and it'll be another year before you get the final year. They don't receive audits, but they do receive a review from a CPA firm, at least in 2019, the last one I have. So their financials are throughout. One of the things, however, that was mentioned earlier is an email from a Patrick Blanchette, who was probably a city councilor back in 2007. And he indicated there was a third government fund. There is no third government fund. It's the educational fund, which goes to the school department, and then there's the public and government money, which is sent to LCAT. And I might add, the public and the government programming is specifically stated inside the Articles of Incorporation, so that we're intended to do both. For some reason, they have only done public, and it's based on evidently an email from a former city councilor saying that, somebody else has the government money. There is no government funds received from Comcast or Verizon. The funds go to the school department for the educational piece, and the rest of it goes, the public and government funding do go to LCAT. So I hope that clarifies a little bit. There isn't a third fund out there. Hopefully that clarifies some of your questions, Counselor.
Thank you very much, through you, Madam Chair.
Make one correction. I didn't say that we donated. I did clarify that it was sent to us by mistake and that we forwarded to the city. But it did say it was for infrastructure improvement, which I interpreted to be for the city council chamber system, or is it some other means by infrastructure? What do they mean by infrastructure? Is it for the cable network, or is it for other infrastructure?
I'm having a hard time hearing from that microphone. It's not very clear, so I'm not sure what the gentleman just indicated, but I think he was asking about the infrastructure checks that the city received, and that is supposed to be for, the first check was to get the council chambers audio or video feed is very, very poor. It's because it's on an old coaxial cable or something like that, and they're trying to get fiber. So that's what the IT department has received those checks to get fiber in the council chambers and connected wherever it has to be connected, so the video quality would be better. It also could be used for any equipment, because we are scheduled to receive, I don't have the contract in front of me, but I believe the city attorney included in the renewal contracts that there would be, I'm not sure every year, but a check for roughly $50,000 for the next several years.
Thank you. So, one of the first things I just want to acknowledge is that, through you, Madam Chair, is that there's been a number of different improvements over the last year or two, and I think it's worthy for us to at least acknowledge that improvements have been made under new leadership, and that there's things that have been improved over there that you've described earlier. So I just want to acknowledge that those have been received and acknowledge that those are happening. The bigger question, and this goes, frankly, this will go back between LCAT and the city in the budget office, is this is PEG. And we talk about the three difference, the P for public, the E for education, the G for government. And in the most recent contracts, those recent contracts have set aside 2% to go directly to the schools, and the schools are getting them. And 2% was supposed to go to the other two, which would be LCAD or the public, and then to the government, which is what people are watching us on now. And there really isn't much, if any, of that money coming to the city. And we're supposed to share that 2% of the money. And it's pretty clear, at least in the contract through Comcast specifically, and to a lesser extent Verizon in the review of it, but very clear in the Comcast that money needs to be done to do some of the things that need to be done. this city council has been paying out of our own city council funds a lot of different things that we probably shouldn't really do. I mean, the very personnel that we have working for us here is coming out of the taxpayers' dollars as opposed to the cable dollars. We the taxpayers, the government is paying for some stipends and salaries of folks. And frankly, that we really shouldn't, those monies should be spent on other things, and the cable money should be spent on that. And then the other thing as well is that we need to have a better, we talked about communication an awful lot through you, Madam Chair, and I think ultimately, I'd like to see a very successful, and I've said this privately and I've said it publicly, I want to see LCAT succeed in many ways, expand, and I think we all share that goal. And so I think in many ways we're on the same team, but I think I'm going to focus more on the government side. My colleagues have done a very good job on the public side of things, but I really want to see improvements done. And Mr. Ryanello, whether it's you or the LCAT money, I don't care where the money is coming from, we just need, I mean, when Mr. Mejia is in the other room scrambling to make sure that there's no feedback and he's turning the knobs, I don't even know what, like 1950s knobs back there. I don't know what year those things are. They seem kind of archaic. But he's trying to make these things happen. We need to figure out a way that the very product of people watching their government in action comes across clearly, they're able to understand it, and it's not like, remember the old days when they used to have the VHF, and you wanted to watch the Boston Bruins game, and you had to stand in a certain place and move the thing around to make sure the snow wasn't on the television?
That was the end of that.
Well, we don't need that anymore. The city councilors should not be looking like that in many respects. We should be very clear, literally clear to people. So we need to start working on that. And I'm on a roll, and I'm going to let you have a chance to respond in one more second.
Okay.
We talked about where can you get information. Our agenda is public. I would encourage the folks who are doing the outreach. It's so easy to get. We have a city council meeting tomorrow night right here. And the Friday before the meeting, I think that we release the agenda, so you will know what is on the agenda. And inside the agenda, you'll see the various permits per activities. And there'll be just a shorthand little synopsis of what that is, a title. And you'll see, and usually it usually has a date on it, and perhaps even a contact person. And if there's any questions regarding those things, there can be some follow-up. These are permits. And you know, we have, what's Nilsa's last name, Madam Chair, in the Recreation?
Ortiz.
Nilsa Ortiz in the Recreation Department kind of keeps a schedule of the different places.
He's,
Who's Nilsa? What's Nilsa's last name?
2 weeks ago. He's working in Nilsa Carvalho.
Nilsa Caraballo. So Nilsa is the person. Forget the last one. Nilsa.
So what department is it?
She works for Recreation
Okay,
Department,
Rec
and they kind of keep a score sheet of what parks are being used, for example. So, and those are the things that we regulate, are the use of the parks. So you'll have an idea of what parks are going on. And the police department as well, they will have permits for roads. So if there's a road race going on or something like that, that's the place to go. So there's a couple of places to give you an idea of what to go. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I think that the resolution that I want to get from everyone involved is to make sure that our product is better, that our government product is better. And that's the commitment that I want to see us collectively with LCAT make. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Oh,
All right,
thank you.
May I answer back to Council LaPlante? Or no?
What is it?
Can I answer something back to Council?
So, yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
Thank you for that information, to find out more information. And I'd like to tour the studio here. Then maybe we can sit down with my board and we can figure something out. I like working with people. I don't have a problem working with people. I'm not the same guy that was there I'm a different human being. I work with a lot of different people, a lot of different nonprofits across the area. Okay, so we can sit down. I'd like to go, I've never even seen the control room here. I'd like to see it. So maybe then we can figure out, you know, And when we were buying things, if I knew then, we had more buying power. This all came in afterwards. When you, like Market Basket, they're the cheapest in the area because they can buy 2,000 loaves of bread because they're gonna sell it to the little market that buys 8 loaves of bread to sell. So there was some buying power that LCAT does. We can help you guys. We wanna work with you guys. I never said I never wanted to work with you. I met with the interim mayor. I had a meeting with the interim mayor. Mayor DePena, I've reached out to him 2 or 3 times, and I know he's very busy. I've been wanting to meet with him. I talked to his chief of staff at the Merrimack Valley Chamber event. I've emailed, I've called down there to set up an appointment. They're busy. I get it. I'm still waiting for the call back. I'm waiting patiently to meet with the mayor. So we can all sit down and discuss this and be,
Okay, well, let me just pass it to Councilor Reyes because I haven't speak. So I believe that we're gonna be all repeating ourselves, but go ahead, Councilor Reyes.
I want to go back to the public because the person in charge is very new in this position, the person in charge to outreach the different organizations. She mentioned she started on June.
yes,
It's almost 1 year.
yes.
What is the way you use to connect to the different organizations in our community? Because you mentioned you send the email, you try to reach out, but they never answer back. Maybe you send the information for the wrong community because our community loves to be in the channel.
I mean, I don't know what organizations you know of, but I've been looking at many different websites, Facebook posts, everything of nonprofits, and I have no reason to lie to you saying they haven't answered. I'm not saying none of them answered.
No,
We've tried to do something with all of them, and I haven't been in outreach for a year. I actually got promoted from outreach about 6 months in. So I have been doing many different jobs at LCAT due to understaffing and things with COVID, and that's just the reality of it is we only have a handful of staff members. There's only so much we can do. So that's why I've been trying to hire other people. And since our last staff member is no longer with us, before we hired a new outreach person and a production assistant and an intern, it was just me who was trained on cameras. So I was the only one who was trained in film and was trained in this. So I was doing outreach, I was doing the cameras, I was doing everything. But before then, I was solely for outreach and doing events. And of reaching out to the many organizations, I've only gotten maybe a couple, not even a couple dozen, get back to me. And we don't hold that against them. If they ever reach out to us, even if they haven't answered in the past, they want to say, hey, we have an event coming up. Sure, we'll be there. If we can be there, we will be there.
Yeah, but I think we had lack communication for our public, for they had the service or they presenting the different program we have in our community. I love to have the list, the program you already have, and also maybe you can share the organization is not respond yet because maybe they don't receive the information.
That's totally valid. We've tried to, because we never know if the websites or anything like that are updated. So we always like to, we prefer to call versus email, because if you're actually speaking to someone there who's confirming with you they are there, then you know that that's their accurate information. We will reach out to them. And if we don't ever get anything back from them, we still see flyers that are getting shared, and we will then share it on our community bulletin board, which in between, like if we have scheduled programming, like we have 5 minutes or a half hour in between scheduled shows, we will have our community bulletin board, which are like still graphics, like posters or digital flyers and stuff like that. We'll put them on our station, which also goes out on our website, and in that station in Methuen, like we mentioned, they will all go out there promoting those events, whether we have gotten in contact with them to film it or not. So we're still trying to kind of promote the events, even if we didn't hear back from them. But yeah, I was in that position for 6 months, and the response rate was not very high, but it did improve drastically to when I first got there. I noticed that we were not having any shows. A lot of people didn't want to come in. This was still in the peak of COVID, and people don't want to come in, and that's not an excuse. I just showed up, and when I got hired, I was like, we need to get these people here. So I think we can all agree on that we need better content. We need more content. So that's why we've been trying to pick up stuff with the chamber, because they do a lot of events in the city, a lot of events with the city, the government, the school, everything. So we're trying to kind of find better ways where people are not just not reaching out to us directly, but if we see something, we will reach out to them. If we're finding a lot of people are on the Facebook pages or on like other websites and stuff like that, we try to reach out to them. And I'm not using an excuse. I'm just trying to propose something that we truly believe will help. It might not fix everything, but it would be a good start to
We
get.
appreciate you guys do the best, but we need to improve more.
We do.
And
We have a
also,
lot of improving.
What my colleague mentioned before, we have a different group love to be
Yeah.
involved with the channel, and
We've
also
definitely heard back from some that, like you said, have loved to be in the studio. They're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And we love that. If we could find more of those, that would be awesome. And even if we maybe contacted the wrong
we
people.
can help to
Yeah.
do a more better outreach in our community because we know our community very well. Thank you.
Exactly.
It's only going to be last question. Half question for Gregory De Rosario and half for Councilor Levy and a quarter for Councilor Rodriguez, because I haven't speak. Okay, so Councilor De Rosario, half.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Question, it might be on the legal matter, but if you're not in any contract or anything in writing stating that you are the vendor, why are you receiving the money from Comcast and Verizon and getting into all this problem or issues that we have right now? And also, I have a question that I'm going to throw out there. If Ayanello wanted to answer me that, it's, Ayanello, if they are not in contract or anything in writing for them as a vendor, can we contact Contacts or Verizon and stop the payment going into LCAS until we got something in writing, and they can send that directly to the city or to whoever is supposed to receive that money?
Can answer. Question.
I mean, I don't know if Ayanello heard me on it. Do you hear me on it? Do you hear the question, Ayanello?
Yes, I heard it. I'm not sure. I'll have to defer to the city attorney on that, but there evidently the contract with between the city and LCAT has expired. So right now the money does continue to go to LCAT, and I think it's be up to the city attorney to have the city tell Verizon and Comcast to no longer send it to LCAT. That would be a separate issue, which I think I'll defer to the city attorney on. But it has been, the contract expired in 2017, and but things have gone, continued as they have in the past.
Okay, I would like to make that as a motion. I would like to get information from the city attorney on that. Getting information on what type of contract, well, there's no contract or anything in writing with LCAT as a vendor. And also, I would like to know if we can do stop payment on the contract with Verizon and Comcast due to the fact that they are not listed as a vendor. So,
Second the motion.
So the question, send correspondent to the city attorney to get more information.
I'll repeat myself. Motion to send, to get in contact or send correspondent to the city attorney to find out that they're not in contract or they don't have anything in writing as a vendor. And also, if they not represent us as a vendor, if they're not in any type of contract or reading anything as a vendor, if we can stop payment on Verizon and Comcast and bring that payment to the city or whoever can receive the contract until we establish a vendor.
Okay.
Discussion.
Second for discussion.
So just so I'm clear on this, this is basically an inquiry. We're not demanding a stop. We're just asking what are the legal remedies if we feel like we've been harmed, or what options do we have legally? That's what the question is. You're not saying that we should be doing that. You're just saying what's out there. What's the
Yeah,
question?
what's the legal repercussion on that if it's possible to get it done? It's not a motion to get it done right now. It's to get the information on it.
So just more information from the city attorney on the contract or lack of a contract and the impacts essentially. Okay.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Councilor
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez? Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President?
Yes.
And the chair voting yes. Okay, Councilor Levy, Councilor Giovanni. So Councilor Rodriguez.
I wanted to go back to the producer of the show. How many producers you guys have right now?
We are producing 43 different shows.
No, producers.
In-house producers or producers of,
I mean, whatever, in total.
in total, 43. We have some in-house, and we also produce shows for like.
No,
Amer-
producers, not productions.
programs, producers.
Not programs.
1, 2, 9?
9.
No, how many?
Yeah, go.
So what's considered, sorry.
Yes.
I'm doing this all the time. So what's considered a producer is either an organization or an individual who's doing a program with us. Very few of our producers or organizations do more than one show. So for example, the Chamber, Mike Bevilacqua, the Chamber does their own events, which is one organization / producer, but Michael Bevilacqua, for example, who's the head, I'm just using him as an example, does his own separate means business thing in the thing. So if we have, I made this list, so if we have about, what was it you said? 43 total, there would be about 40 shows that were 40 producers. I just want to clarify.
So,
Those are all different individuals or organizations. who are
different
considered
individuals or
producers. Yeah.
organizations.
Yes.
So, by the way, you just mentioned a name. The person is from Haverhill, and he's covering stuff from Lawrence?
Oh, the Bevilacquas?
Yes.
No, so I'm not talking about Joe Bevilacqua as a human. He does,
He does Comerciamos, as Chamber of Commerce.
yes, so they're the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce. They do events. They're based in Lawrence, right on Essex Street. So they do a bunch of events, whether it's Lawrence, Haverhill, Methuen, North Andover, all in the Merrimack Valley. So we do their events and we share them with all the other cable access stations because they want them to be shared
And do
throughout
you
the
think
valley.
that the people from Lawrence that pay the bills actually
Yes.
care much about an event happening in Haverhill or
When they want to
Methuen?
see veterans breakfasts and they want to see other events that promote other organizations that are in their area that could benefit them, I think they do. And I think the public-
Essentially, that's the difference, because I think that what they care a lot is what is happening in Lawrence.
And a lot of these events are happening or affect Lawrence, so that's why we air them.
No. That's basically what we're missing here. And we're gonna go back and forth again and again and again until we have an actual request for proposal that we clear with what as a city we need. Because those are things that are not well defined as of what people want to see, and what people would like to actually enjoy.
Okay,
And
so,
essentially, we're gonna keep on having that issue, because I mean, those are interpretations as of what people want.
okay, but also the council, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the council, I don't recall who, but a few of you have mentioned that there are organizations that would love to be promoted in the city. The Chamber is a nonprofit organization in the city that we're trying to share their content, right? So if they're a nonprofit and we're trying to share it, so someone I know you were mentioning that the nonprofits, right, that wanted to be shared, but now you're telling me that that's not the content that the city wants to see. So I would like some clarification on that if I could
Right,
get
no
some.
problem. So let me ask you guys, the board of directors, do you guys have 6 members currently?
Of the board?
Yeah. 6 members. And essentially, do you think that they are reflecting the current community of the city of Lawrence as of today? Speak to the
Just
mic, speak
go
mic.
to the mic, please.
Oh, sorry about that. We're still looking for new board members, but no one has come forward. I'm always out there looking, I've asked. I'm out in the community a lot. I'm all over the place.
We currently see 1 Latino, but the Lawrence is 80% Latino. So keep that in mind for everything that you guys do. Lawrence is 80% Latino. So staff, if you really guys wanted to see something that reflect the Latino community, guys gonna do to start hiring Latinos. And I don't wanna just push for the Latino communities, but that's basically the reality of Lawrence, unfortunately. Lawrence is a minority community, including government. And we are very inclusive, but we like to see that every aspect of the community throughout. And with that said, I don't want to take more time of other councilors on this meeting, but I hope that we can keep on having this conversation.
Thank you for the consideration.
Can I have one more thing, Madam?
Oh,
At
wait,
some
wait,
point,
wait,
Whenever you have the
wait.
ability.
So by the time it's going to be my turn, I'm not going to have a question because they've been asking all the question. I probably going to finalize with a comment. Councilor Levy and Councilor President, last question for you guys.
Madam Chair, I'm going to say thank you, but Councilor Rodriguez already made it a question that I already have it regarding the board of directors that should reflect a little, the Latino community, and also to reflect the city of Lawrence. And I don't see any Hispanic on the board, and nobody from Lawrence. The same things with the staff, so it should be reflected the city of Lawrence. Thank you.
Councilor President, your last question.
Yeah, not really a question, Madam Chair, I guess a little one. So my information is back in 2019, at the end of the fiscal year, in the calendar year, there was $479,000 in cash. So that's at the end of 2019. So I'm curious, as to how much money do you have in your account, and maybe the financial will show that. So when you submit that, that would be helpful to know.
Right now, we have total in cash, $384,889 in our accounts. We spent quite a bit this year on improvements in the studio and equipment. We had a mold in the basement. We had to rectify that, new roof, new boards. So we spent over $100,000 this year in improvements. So we're at.
Thank you very much. And just the final point is that, not a question, is that that's a good chunk of change, and that's fantastic. And every year you're getting an extra $300,000 as if we continue at this level. And I know there's overhead that you got to pay, and there's improvements and all that. And I just ask again that there's an opportunity here to make a dramatic impact in the viewership of what we have here as a product. And out of the amount of money that you're bringing in versus the amount of money that you have, there's an opportunity there to help and contribute and assist. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You all set with mics? Okay. Got one question, and then I'll answer whoever else's question. Since I've been trying to get in here to see the control room, it's late now, so I don't want to bother these guys tonight. Who is the contact? Okay.
Yeah, you can.
And I can do that? Oh, good, because I want to get the contact person so we can go through the control room and see what you guys need, and then we can sit down and go through things and figure things out. And I don't mind doing that, except I've never even seen the control room.
And we'd love for you to have that time and just to go back
Oh,
and check.
good. Thank you. I just didn't want to keep people here till midnight.
No, we already, we anticipated that we're going to be here until midnight.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes. Don't worry about that.
All right.
So I guess all the question is being asked, something that has been very clear, miscommunications, outreach. Update your information for all the emails that you've been sending out, which I believe you have done it. But in some way, if I had made my intent to reach someone out and I don't get any response, I just try to update my information just to check what is wrong, because eventually it's the gap between you and us. And Chim, and this is something that I'm going to say very loud and clear, someone have to take the blame, and we have to divide it 50 and 50. I think it's fair, right?
Yeah.
So, shame on us for being taking so long, because this is not a new issue. Has been going on for such a long time. And we all were aware of that. But we feel comfortable with, no one is asking, we're not going to bother it too. I'm not talking anyone in particular. This is, I'm saying that I'm dividing half and half. You're going to take 50, and we're going to be taking 50. So we wait until now to make you come in front of us. From what I've been hearing early is that since the last time you had been reached out from us was 2007?
I was not there at that time.
Yeah, but that's what I heard, that you been exchanging email with one of the city council, that they was requesting something and all of that. So I believe, and something that one of my colleagues was asking, like how many members you have in your board? You say 5 or 6?
6, you got the list in front of you.
Okay, so we have 6. How many Latino, Hispanic, are you open for a diverse community that?
We are open, we just haven't had anybody come in and say, I want to be on the board, here are my
What is the advertisement that we are throwing out there for the people to know that you are looking for someone to be part of that board?
We will put in advertising, but I've been asking city people, I'm involved in different organizations, and I've asked Hispanics and many other people to be on the board, and they've all said they don't have the time. So
But do you
if we
think
need
if-
to go through the council,
Yeah.
I can have something put up together and we can do something.
I
And if you
guess-
want, I will come back once a
I guess
month.
that we have
Point
to
of
do
information.
a bit,
Point of information, very quick. Can you say the email as of where people can reach out, or a number that people can reach out to be a board member, please?
To be a board member, they can call me personally, and I will
What
give you
we
my
need
personal
is-
email. I don't have a problem, I'll give it to you right now. My personal email is thomasspitaleri@yahoo.com. That's my personal email. So it's THOMASSPITALERE@yahoo.com. Or my cell phone is public. If you Google my name, you'll find the cell phone. It's 978-376-2807.
so thank you for that information, but I'm always going to encourage you just to pass it to our secretary and
I
you
will.
pass all that information.
Okay.
As you know, this is too fast for someone just to take a note and and you are the one that's advertised.
Right.
And like I say, I think you have room to improve. I think, communication is the first key that you have to have. So how am I going to be trying to get someone and just talking to the city employee or any city person that I know, oh, I'm looking for someone, but this is not a public advertisement. So I think we have to work together. So as many things that couldn't happen long time ago that we didn't have to wait until today. And like we've been repeating constantly, that we have to wait 3 weeks in order for you to get ready because you don't know what you're going to be expecting. And I don't blame you because you never has been put in that spot just to come and answer so many questions, and people sound frustrated because that has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with us. It's a common effort. We have to do our part. You have to do your part. I think, to be advertised, your information is public. I don't know your information. I'm sure that you don't know mine, and mine is public. So I think we have to sit and talk about, and I'm assuming that we're going to be having another meeting where you're going to be more prepared for all the questions that you might going to be taking tonight, and just to kind of bring an answer for us just to kind of start moving forward. Do not get stuck where we are, because I know that it has been for so many years, but I think it's time just to move forward. So I'm going to leave this here because I'm assuming that we are going to be tabled this item. And just to kind of book another meeting with more information. I think it's only fair for us just to exchange email, just to request what we want to hear from you, and be ready for our questions, right?
Correct.
So that's fair, right?
Yes.
So you took your 50, I'm going to take my 50.
Okay.
Okay. So motion to table.
Second,
The motion has been made, so I'm not going to open for another question. I'm going to save you tonight, but Ningún discussion. So motion has been made, properly second to be tabled, so we are gonna notify you when we are gonna be having another meeting, which we are planning to give you a little bit more time for us just to kind of be on the same page, right?
Okay,
So
Thank you.
remember, you took 50, we took 50.
All right.
So next time, I'm assuming that we probably gonna take 55 and you 45, okay?
okay.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Madam Chair, one more item, document number 11022. This will be very brief, very quick. I'd like to take that off the table. Matters, please.
So is, motion has been made, properly second. All of them in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Madam Chair, I'd like to take, this is the FERC, this is the canals, and this is the one that's going to FERC as opposed to the Mass Historic Commission. What I would like to do is send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation, inserting the similar language that we use for the Mass Historic Commission. The verbiage, there was some minor things on there, so that's what I would like, and changing, of course, the name to FERC.
Okay, motion.
Did you get that?
Oh, Chief, we take the item, just repeat the motion. For the item that we took a motion to take document 1022 out of table, right? And the second motion was to send it with favor recommendation to the full council.
Madam Chair, 110.
Nope. 110. 11022. Thank you, Councilor Reyes.
And so we're just going to substitute the same language that we used for the Mass Historic Commissions on that, and we're going to take that language and insert it here, with the only other change being, of course, that it's going to be to FERC as opposed to the Mass Historic Commission, a different audience. And Council, and I'll say something briefly after the motion is completed. It'll be very quick.
Okay?
That's it for the motion.
So that's the motion, and the motion
And
has been.
Right, and
yeah.
discussion real quick. So just,
Yep.
here's the update. The update is that the deadline for sending this to FERC, I think, is May 23rd. So we need to move on. This won't be for tomorrow's meeting because it's too quick. It'd be on the 17th, and then we'll have to it'll be in time for the 23rd to FERC. Thank you.
Okay? So motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Wow. All those in favor? The ayes have it. Thank you, Counselor.